How could such an innocuous product, based upon a writing utensil that we have grown up with all our lives, how can it be such a monkey wrench in my team project pan? I hope you consider sticking around for this story. Hello, if you're new to my channel, my name is Mary, and this is how I'm tracking my No-Buy 2019. I will link a video up in the cards if you're interested in my rules, but essentially my no-buy is a replacement only no-buy. The purpose of this video is to do my second installment of Team Project Pan. This is a tag that was designed and launched by Kat and Haley. I will link both of their channels below in the description box. It's a community where people, whether you're on a no-buy or not, reflect on their process of attempting to pan products in 2019. This is my second installment. I will link the first, in which I really had to carefully consider whether a team project pan, although it's obvious benefit of linking to a community and being able to easily watch your reflections, it did not always feel like an intelligent thing for me to do, dovetailing with my no-buy year. Because essentially, on one hand, in a very significant manner, running out of product, especially if that product is sort of elemental to my persona, how I see myself, my theater of identity. If that product is fundamental to at least the current vision of self, then in a very real way it would serve to heighten that temptation and potentially cause me to break my no-buy year. In other words, if I really love a product, by the time I hit pan, that is the time when I become vulnerable to boredom, internet shopping, and that irrational desire that says, ooh, time to stockpile. The benefit of tracking the usage of my products on a spreadsheet potentially will have a greater impact on my understanding of my shopping patterns and my inventory and of my usage of those products that I do consider essential, and the costs related to those essential products. I did decide that it would be a worthwhile experience for me to join in. I will organize this video around 3 basic categories. Those products that I have placed in my team project pan because I need to use them up in order to feel that I'm getting my money's worth out of them. Category 2 will be the products that I will likely use up but will not be able to replace because I have perhaps more items in that general category, for instance, mascaras. The third category will be perhaps the most interesting to you all. These will be the products that I will potentially run out of, but I use because they are so essential to how I see myself, and I'm just going to have to learn to deal with that threat of running out of something and not being able to replace it. Let me quickly sort those 3 piles. Okay, my first category is the largest. It contains 11 items. Again, there will be timestamps below if you'd like to jump around. In order to expedite the flow of this video, I will not be giving you individual weights of usage for each of these products, but do know that I have linked my spreadsheet below. This was a spreadsheet designed by Kat and Haley. All right, without further ado, let's start with a product that I have decided to declutter. The Hoola Benefit Bronzer is a cream product that I never reach for. It pulls too orange on my skin. It is a cream to powder formula, so it's not the formula that I don't enjoy. It's the color. It's just too orange for me. I do not enjoy it. Having it in my team project pan for 2 months now has shown me that it's just time to give this to somebody who may enjoy using it. And when I declutter things, I have 3 nieces, all of whom are in Florida, and I will likely just put together a care package, send it down there, or bring it with us when we visit this summer. Next item that I may ultimately decide to declutter, but I don't think so. This is not an obnoxious product. It works for me. It's the Busy Gal Brow Brush Gel from Tarte. And it actually does have a very nice tiny wand. Many of the brush gels have little wands like this. I do enjoy it. I just don't find myself reaching for this because my go-to method is soap brows, and I just keep a spoolie on my vanity, run it underwater, run it across my glycerin soap, brush up my brows, and use the brush end of my spoolie to apply my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in blonde. And I will talk about this. It's in my next category. This box in my collection is checked. I do intend to work it into my formula. It's just I'm typically so busy in the morning getting ready for work that I tend to hit a pattern, I tend to hit a groove, and I will talk about that groove and how that groove or how patterns can kind of impact team project pan. In this case, my pattern prevents me from dipping into this product even though it's right virtually in front of my face. This summer I have a little more time, so I will perhaps be better at using this. Also in that category, this is an eyelid primer, eyeshadow primer by Too Faced Shadow Insurance, I believe it's called. It is a lightly tinted primer, and again, I just never reach for it because my typical pattern is skincare, foundation, a little bit of concealer under my eyes and on my lids, which I pat out before setting with powder, and that serves as my eyelid primer. And I never have a problem with my eyeshadow lasting all day when I do that. I feel I still get excellent color payoff, so I see no reason to use a dedicated eyelid primer. Now, perhaps because this is a cream and it may be facing an expiration date, this is also a contender for decluttering. If I have not used it by the end of June, I will declutter that product. 3 cream products are in this category. And again, when I'm in a hurry, when I'm getting ready for work, if it's not a weekend, if I've already applied my base makeup and it's the evening and I'm going out with my husband, I don't reapply my makeup. I just never reach for these 2 products. This is the NARS Multi-Stick in Orgasm, and this one is the Ilia Multi-Stick in At Last. I do enjoy both the colors. I enjoy having the cream products in my collection. I should probably use them more conscientiously in order to get my money's worth. Otherwise, they will just go off in my drawer and I won't have gotten any value out of them. So I will make a concerted attempt to reach for those. In fact, this is a contour cream kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think what I'll do with these cream products is I've been so intrigued by many of your reviews of cream products, specifically Tom Ford. I feel that these 2 shades could be a dupe for the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate duos that have been all the rage in May. I've also really been tempted by some of the cream highlighters that have been released this summer. I think what I'll do to scratch that itch and to feel that I indeed have that level of depth to my collection is attempt a dupe the vibe look with my cream products. So I'll probably be picking a video by either Abby Bliss White or Michelle Wong or some of my other favorites who have done recent dedicated cream product videos, and I'll see what I can do with my current collection. So keep an eye out on that if you're interested. The Laura Mercier primer has actually changed categories. I believe it was in my second category, which is, again, I'll use it, I might pan it, but I have plenty of other primers in my collection. I've downgraded this to the product category where I'm not as in love with this product after trying a little sample size of the Hourglass primer. Now that Hourglass primer does something totally unique. It goes on like a gel and it instantly turns into a powder, and I feel it does a much better job with concealing texture than my Laura Mercier. Honestly, I have about 6, perhaps 10 little sample packs of the Hourglass, so I'll be able to do perhaps a half face wear test with the 2 primers so I can really understand what the characteristics are. Also downgraded, this Lancome Monsieur Big is the reason I was not completely freaked out by the idea of running out of my Chanel Le Volume de Chanel mascara, which I did mid-May. Now, in the back of my mind, I knew I had this in the past. This has always been my holy grail mascara. However, when I opened it the day after applying my last dosage of the Chanel, I applied it and it was just tragicomic because the experience was nothing like my recollection. The experience was nothing like that fantasy imagination, that experience where memory shifts things and seduces you with perceptions which at the time this may have been my holy grail, but alas, no longer. So when I run out of this, I will likely not repurchase this. Another meh product, this is actually kind of a very two-dimensional Clinique Happy. I am down to about half the vial. It is very fresh, very two-dimensional, clean, soapy, youthful smelling perfume, and it's, I suppose, a fun thing to pull out periodically. Post-workout, perhaps. I will run out of this. I will not repurchase it. I will not be tempted to repurchase it. I have one blush in this Team Project pan, and I do understand now that blushes are very slow going. This is my Benefit Dandelion blush. It is a wonderful pink, very natural. I do have it on today. It applies a very natural flush to the cheeks, so I do enjoy it. It's just, I hate the packaging, so although it's my no buy year and I cannot purchase a magnetic Z palette, that type of product is on my radar for 2020 so I can depot some of my more obnoxious packaging, usually Benefit or Tarte, and really go through and streamline my collection of products that I enjoy. The last thing in this category is my Estee Lauder Youth Perfecting Foundation. This is in the shade 2W1. I am right down to this level. I will run out of this probably mid-July, and I've stopped mixing it. It is not an ideal color for me because it pulls a little yellow. That means everything I put on top of it pulls a little orange. I will just look forward to using this up. I will not be repurchasing this foundation. Okay, we are on to category 2, and I'll start with the sunblock. This is my holy grail sunblock. It is the Australian Gold Botanical Face Block in SPF 50. Now, it is a very whipped formula. It does have a light tint. I will show you how that applies. It rubs in. There are no chemical sunscreens in this product. I do not feel that it changes the tone of my skin significantly. It takes about 10 minutes to set down on my skin before I can apply foundation. Generally, that's That's when I get dressed for work, and then by the time I'm dressed, I can go back into the bathroom and finish applying the rest of my face. Also in this category is the NARS Laguna Liquid Bronzer. I do enjoy this. I don't think I'll ever run out. I think this product, there's so much in here, I think I'll have to discard it before I ever run out. I do have it in this rotation because I enjoy using it, and especially in the summertime. It's a tad deep for my winter skin. The other bronzer I won't say too much about. You've all heard me rave about this product. This is the Bobbi Brown Illuminating Bronzer in the shade Aruba. I love it. My pan is growing. I typically use this on my cheeks, on any areas of my face that would get sun exposure, just to bring color back into my flesh. I generally prep my eyes with it also in terms of hitting the crease in the outer corner and blending up onto my hooded lid. It just gives me a starting point for whatever eye look I'm going for. The divot has grown on my Surratt highlighter. This is in the shade Ariel, and it's very, very neutral, very, very wearable highlight. I've got it on today, and I love it. It's my go-to. It does a good job with not pulling too much attention to any texture you might have, and I adore it. It is my jam. I have one concealer in this category because I was finding some blemishes early May, end of April. And the Lancome Effacerne in the shade Cannelle is a very good match for blemishes on my face. I have used this in a lighter shade underneath, in the dark part underneath my eye, with very good effect. And I do hope this summer to do my own version of a concealer wear test where I go through my collection and pair them up against each other. I really enjoy that kind of content from the rest of you out there. I've spoken about the Anastasia Brow Wiz, but I have not shown you that I have indeed made progress. There is a growing divot in my pomade. I'm very happy about that. I feel accomplished. My Persona palette, I have been doing a very good job using this and exploring. I feel that you might be able to see I've dipped significantly into each of the colors, and I just adore this. I love videos where you all do 3 looks with the one palette, so I hope to do that myself with this Persona palette in the coming weeks. The Kevin Aucoin Facebook 3 I use all over my face. I will link this up in the cards to my dupe the vibe look. I was able to, I feel, fairly successfully dupe the vibe of one of the summer releases by NARS, successfully enough to squash that temptation. So I'm very pleased with that. These are ginormous pans. I will never pan this product, but it is in my project pan because I do typically use it, if not every day, at least twice a week. And my Fame palette. Not much has been happening with the Fame palette, so there's not really anything to say with that. Category 2, Fini. Now we are moving on to the final category, and I have 6 products to discuss. Let's start with the easy ones. Y'all know that I love the Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt. Once I'm out of this, though, I will not be able to replace. I am over halfway. At this point, I'm not attempting to rip through this. I do not use it every day. It's still in my project. I just have too many fine fragrances to be able to repurchase this when it's empty. On the other hand, I have so many fragrances that I just need to let go of the idea of running out of one of them, because I need to be able to run out of it. It will not last forever. I need to be able to use it up so that I can start to use another one. So I'm trying to let go of that anxiety of running out of a product with that one, which means I suppose I'm talking myself into using that more consciously every day so that I can really enjoy it. This is the 1 fluid ounce size, so it is a perfect size to throw into a handbag. I should do that. The other product I'll just briefly touch on is my Clinique Moisture Surge 72 hours. I probably have 1/3 left of this container. Again, if you're interested in checking out usage rates, I use this as my daytime moisturizer. I feel like I opened this at the beginning of 2019, which means that it should last me most of the year. When I am out, I have plenty of other daytime moisturizers that I can use. So even though this is my current holy grail, I'll just have to make do with something else. I will not be able to repurchase that because of the other moisturizers in my collection. The Clé de Peau Stick Concealer is among my favorites. This is in the shade Ivory, which I find is a better match for me than the Clé de Peau Illuminating Brightener in the shade Ivory. That one is noticeably white and it's very easy to use. That's in the clicky pen. It's very easy for me to over apply that when I'm using it as a concealer under my eyes. So this I just feel it's the right applicator for me. It's the right formula for me. I do enjoy it. No chance of running out of this though. I will show you. I'm about under an inch, under 2 centimeters of product. Okay, I'll save this for last. The Biologique Recherche Lotion P50. This is the 1970 formula. It is the stronger formula. You guys have heard me talk about this incessantly. I love this toner, but I prefer a slightly different formula. I have gone through just over 1 centimeter in the month and a half that I've been using it. That takes me into, well, we'll see. I do not use this in the evening because I use Retin-A in the evening. And the two in tandem would truly be too much. My nails are holding up quite well. I do intend to dig back through the remainder in this box. LA Colors. This was a dollar store purchase, I believe, from the clearance aisle in 2018. I just recently tried them. I do enjoy the quality, but they've been on for 2 weeks now, and I just am beginning to accidentally pop them off during the day as I move about my world. So I will dig through. I need 3 fresh nails on my left hand and 2 on my right. And I feel like I'll be able to top them off with what's remaining in my collection. But once I'm out of those, actually I will be able to repurchase those. It is my only set of false nails. I guess I have to weigh that. I do have plenty of nail polishes. My nails are usually fairly healthy and grow rather quickly, and I feel that they have a decent shape naturally, so I'll perhaps have to talk myself into putting off such a frivolous purchase as press-on nails. Final product in this category is my Marc Jacobs eyeliner, and I was attempting to show you how much product I had remaining in this stick, which I use every day. When I spun the applicator and raised the eyeliner, it got to about here, and then it just kind of fell over sideways in a really tragic, pathetic, yet slightly ironic manner. I feel bad about this. I cannot replace it. I have a bazillion eyeliners, none as beloved as this. I suppose the takeaway with that and with my project pan is that on one hand they're products. They really are only products. There will always be a shiny new toy. There will always be greener grass in the neighbor's yard. There will always be wants. There will always be something new. There will always be technological improvements. There will always be stylistic flavors. There will always be flavors of the season. Over the process of doing this team project pan, my personal takeaway is that I really am interested in having a capsule collection in my clothing and in my cosmetics that I move through in seasonal movements. In other words, I will be able to avert boredom if I have a solid collection of if I have 2 or 3 options always of a bold lip, or 2 or 3 options of a neutral lip. But do I need 30 rose lipsticks? Absolutely not. More than the flexibility to choose eyeliner or eyelids, we need the flexibility to be able to follow larger whims, more relevant whims, travel, second homes, things that actually give you experiences and not just things. So, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate the time that you spent listening. More than hearing my own voice, I really do enjoy the comments that you leave down in the comment field. I will link 2 videos over here that I would like to highlight if you're new to my channel. One is where I did a dupe the vibe look, and the other is where I reflect on my first team project pan. If you're interested in checking out more of my content, that is where I would suggest you start. Otherwise, toodles, ciao, I will see you in a couple days.